How we doing, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Real Life Podcast. Today, we have a very special guest, Steve Feinberg. Steve, introduce
Yes.
yourself to the people.
Hi, my name is Steve Feinberg. How'd I do? Good?
It was good.
Yeah,
That was
thanks,
good. That was
thanks. I practiced this
Yeah.
morning.
good. Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
So, how about you go a little bit more into depth about
Oh.
your, where we are right now,
I'm
about
Sagittarius. I like
Yeah.
walks on the beach. I actually don't like walks on the beach.
what you do here. Me neither.
What? We're here at Rowan University. Is that what you're referring
Yes.
to? We're here at Rowan University. I'm a professor here, full-time faculty for Rowan University's music industry program. I oversee the business of the music industry as opposed to the live sound or production end.
Phenomenal.
Thanks.
So let's go a little bit into your career. Where was your start in the music business industry?
Just in the music industry, I started as a manager. So I was actually a talent. Well, let's go backwards a little bit. So I actually left Rowan University. I graduated Rowan University. I went to New York to work with a film actor. Then I left that to go work on television on Law & Order, the TV show Law & Order. Ran the script department there for 5 years, 4 years, 5 seasons. And then I left to become a talent agent for actors. After a couple years of that and realizing that I hated very much working for a talent agency, but I really liked the actor, I became a manager of actors and started teaching at NYU the business of acting. While I was doing that, I met some twins that would later become the band Good Charlotte. I convinced them to let me manage them, even though I had no experience in the music business. You'll see this as a theme of my career of not knowing the industry that I'm fully delve into,
Sure.
and then hopefully most of the time mastering it or having some sort of success in it. And then I became a music manager. I slowly stopped working with actors. The Good Charlotte did go on to become a multi-platinum artist, and it took up all of my time and some extra time. And then, so that went on for like a decade as a full-time music manager. I signed several artists, had a office in New York and in London, 8 or 9 employees. It was pretty great.
That sounds great.
Yeah, it's very good. Very lucky.
So, that was obviously a big part of your journey to where you are now. Let's go a little bit
Indeed.
more into depth about that. So
Mhm.
what was that like? You didn't really have that knowledge before going into it.
Correct.
So what was that curve like for you?
The learning curve of it.
Sure.
I mean, it was pretty intense, to be quite honest. I hate to sound really old, but the internet was not as user friendly. As the late '90s, early 2000, when I sort of ventured into music as a career. So the learning curve was pretty brutal, if I can be honest. But I have no real shame in my game, so I have no problem calling out to people who have some success. I called out to some very big artist managers and convinced them to talk to me and tell me what to look out for, or what I should be thinking of, or I didn't even know what questions to ask them, to be quite honest. And then just I'm a doer. If I could do, I can learn, versus reading it in a book. So, I wasn't a great student here, if I could be quite honest, because I need to be in the field. I need to do it. And I think you understand. You're like this.
I
It's
do
like once you get your hands on it and in it, you can like tear it apart and figure it out. I was very good at that, and so I'm a 24/7 worker. I didn't want or need sleep. I want to go, and that really played into what you do in the music business. That really helps, is having that drive, that obsession, if you will. So the learning curve was big. I got really lucky, if I can be honest. I didn't make any great mistakes. Sure, you make micro mistakes all over the place, but that allows you to constantly pivot and readjust. But I didn't make any major mistakes. Again, I found a good lawyer who educated me on the law. I found a great booking agent who knew about the touring, and I asked a lot of questions and got a lot of answers. So, it was in very real time. They went from being an unsigned band to a platinum artist in under 3 years. So you have to learn fast and all the time.
Yeah.
Did I answer the? I don't
No,
know.
I think that was great. I think that was great. So let's backtrack a little bit. So growing
Okay.
up,
Mm-hmm.
was there a musical influence in your life, or did you just kind of stumble on, artist management and then just kind of fall into Good Charlotte?
Good question. Luckily, I had therapy this morning, so I had this actual discussion today. So it's good timing, Kate.
Oh, there you go.
And yes, I'm in therapy, everybody, and you should all be in therapy. It's
good stuff.
Note to my therapist is going to be the sponsor show.
There you go.
No, to be quite honest, I didn't. I grew up, as a lot of people do, not a non-present father, not well off, as a family, and really struggling. My mom making ends meet for 3 kids on a teacher's salary, and she was sick when I was young. But music was my escape. As a lot of people that I find in the music business, music is escape. For you, maybe it's more about salvation or big thoughts or whatever. Music comes in and fills a lot of people's souls up.
Yeah.
Right? It did for me as a kid. I had no interest in working in the music business per se. I was in a band, and a very popular band in Philadelphia, and I really liked being on stage, but I noticed I was actually better at doing all the biz, and me and my best friend from high school and then my roommate here at college, we both came here. We were really good at doing that stuff. He still works 30 years later in the music business, as do I.
Go.
So you know what it was? I think I have a good mind for sort of the law and being a protective person as someone who grew up unprotected, if I can be quite vulnerable on this podcast. Growing up not sort of protected and not having someone look after me, I feel the want and need to do that, and I speak artist. So I just got good at that, and I do understand the business, but I can do it from a very protective, overseeing, that's the type of manager I am. It came to me when it needed to. I didn't, I'm sure you deal with this all the time. Sometimes our callings and our what we're great at or what we're good at comes to us, shows itself, reveals itself in some way at the time that it most often probably needs to, and that's where I was. So
there you go.
Man, I got to tell you, by the time I finish answering these questions, I forget what the question was.
So do I. I don't think that far back, but I'm thinking so. I think you answered it well.
Thank you.
I think you answered it well. So, being in the music industry now, have you ever owned a record label? You ever worked with some other big people besides Good Charlotte?
You're just baiting me into that conversation.
I
like what you're doing there.
Yeah.
Sure. So, after 9 years, I think, with Good Charlotte, just under 10 years with Good Charlotte, I had signed a group called My Morning Jacket, who's very critically acclaimed. I signed a comedy duo called Flight of the Conchords, which went on to become a very successful TV show on HBO. Then I partnered with someone in Los Angeles, and he managed, he managed the Dixie Chicks. So we came together. We also handled Miranda Lambert. We were her first manager. And then her day-to-day manager ultimately is still her manager to this day. She's, I think, won 30 country music awards and endless Grammys or whatever. And that was incredible. And I love that run, and it was really a great time for me. Then when Good Charlotte and I stopped working together, my heart was a little bit broken. As you can tell, I'm a bit sensitive. And I just got out. I got rid of, I sold my piece of the company, and I left. I started working in the fashion business, or with the fashion business as a music consultant. And then I met the quite famous, infamous shoe mogul, Steve Madden.
There you go.
And I pitched him this idea. We came together at a random meeting, and I pitched him an idea. And he brought me on for a 3-month consultancy, and then we stayed together for 8 years. I then had a record label with Steve. We started a record label at Warner Brothers called Five Towns Records. That ran for about 4 years, and then we started Steve Madden Music Project, which was the overarching entity for the 8 years. And then COVID happened and sort of, did away with that business as the brand, and Steve really needed to focus on keeping his company, afloat in a really terrible time. So that business went away, and I just went back to consulting for record labels.
There you go.
And then if you want the rest of that, and then I ended up guest lecturing here, which then eventually turned into a full-time teaching gig.
How about that?
Mm-hmm.
How about that?
Yeah, how about that?
Right. So.
And then I met you, and.
Oh yeah, it's been a blast.
And then here we are.
We have a good time. We have a good time.
Indeed.
So during your tenure throughout life, what would you say was your favorite kind of career season?
Whew, that was quite some adjectives in there. Yeah. I mean, that's tricky. I mean, because Good Charlotte changed my life or managing bands and managing Good Charlotte certainly changed my life in so many ways that it's hard to not put that at the top.
Sure.
But actually, the Steve Madden Music Project, which did last almost as long, it lasted 8 years, was so much more enjoyable because the pressure was lower. There wasn't an ROI, right? So Steve and the brand were sort of giving me these very large budgets to create music events and work with artists without the pressure of saying like, oh, well, we didn't make any money back, or what is that doing for our brand? It was a pure brand positioning experience. So it was incredible because I was working with very large artists and day one artists and everything in between, and just really giving them money to create content, doing events with them. I was throwing events in New York City, up to like 1,000-seat venues, at least every other month. It was incredible. And I have to say that probably falls as my highlight. And then Steve Madden, who's quite, famous in the fashion world, he and I were, business partners. I'm to this day his only business partner he's ever brought in and said like, let's have a business together. And it's incredible. Like, I mean, the budgets were big and his expectations were high, but the ROI didn't exist. And that's an incredible dynamic.
Yeah.
So that was probably my favorite sort of chapter. I think.
No, that's good. I mean, I would put that at the top.
Yeah, but I mean, I've been beyond fortunate and blessed in so many ways that it's hard to, I've had incredible moments in my life and career. So
yeah. So what would you say? This will be a two-parter.
Oh, I can never remember the first part, but go for it.
There you go. What would you say are currently the biggest flaws and also the good things about the industry right now, where it stands?
The music industry?
Yeah.
Is this a podcast about the music industry?
Oh, well, we'll get it. We're just on the music industry segment of the podcast.
Is there going to be some like words up here? Music industry.
Yeah.
So what? Give it to me again.
So what are the biggest flaws right now in your opinion with the music industry, and then what are the good things about it?
Oof. I mean, I guess the detractors of the music industry is due to, I think I hate this answer already, but I think the biggest problem with the music industry is it's innately and terribly tied to social media, as probably everything is, I guess.
Sure.
And it changes the dynamic because I meet some amazing artists and they almost 100% are like, I love what I do. I love the music I make. I just hate the fact that I have to post 3 times a day on TikTok or whatever it is.
Sure.
It's such a terrible side, inevitable and never going away, at least in this format. It's just like it's a terrible like side effect of the new digital era, and it makes music very disposable, right? So when I was young, if I wanted to buy the Clash album, I had to mow some lawns. I had to work all week or 2 weeks to get enough to buy one album. Then I took that album home and I listened to it every hour, every day for weeks on end till I could afford my next album, right? That's how people who had to work for a living, even as teenagers, did it, right? So now I can listen to that album by flipping through it on Spotify in a minute and decide if I like it. Well, without putting any investment into that album, it's very easy to dismiss it, right? But working all week or 2 weeks long to buy one thing, you're invested in that.
Right.
You're looking at the artwork. It's larger format. There's the album right up there. It's right up there. The first album to really change my life was The Clash's London Calling. And so the problem is it's super easy to dismiss artists' music now. You literally, someone will work a year making an album, and you or the public will just look at it and go, listen to 10 seconds and go, nah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much work and so much heartache and effort put into that. So I think that's a really difficult part of the music business for artists to get their heads and hearts around it. What's the other? So that's the downside. What's the upside?
What's the upside?
The upside, which I'm not even sure I believe this answer as before I say it, but I think the upside tends to be that anyone can make music now. And I actually see this as a positive and a negative, but anyone can make music, and you can literally sit around with your best friend in your house and make something that could be a worldwide hit, and come out on DistroKid, an independent publisher, without even any effort a distribution, not publisher, independent distribution. And that's wild. I mean, that's really incredible. So, that's and the money is coming back. One of the upsides is that the money is coming back into the music business. Artists are making touring and merch is really booming. A lot of young artists can survive just on doing little shows and selling T-shirts.
That's good.
That's super important to keep them alive.
Yeah. So, I'll ask you this in your professional opinion. What do you think? When you're looking at artists, when do you know, like, okay, like that's someone that has what it takes? What do you think the criteria is that determines whether someone has what it takes or not? The characteristics.
Yeah, so it's interesting because I spoke to a young artist from Germany today, and she's not even, I talked to her parents, actually. She's not even 18. But some people are, this is what I see, from seeing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of artists, from talking to, the same amount, hundreds if not thousands of artists over the years. You could write the greatest song in the world, but if you are not built for this business, you shouldn't do it. Write it for someone else and let them do it. Yeah. Because the main criteria that I weigh in, or what has great weight in my factoring, is if I think that they are emotionally and mentally built to make it past the first song. Because the amount of, are we allowed to curse on here? The amount of crap you have to eat on a daily basis, the amount of like damaging feedback, especially in the digital world, of people just talking terrible things about you every time you put out a piece of music or media. The artists that make it are built different than the rest, and I see it in people. I met a wonderful former student here who I thought could write great songs, but was not built to make it past the commentary and the not getting shows for weeks on end and not feeling growth. It's not for everyone. It's not for most people, to be quite honest. And people that are superstars, if you meet them, you'll see this quality in them, and it's hard to put your finger on what it is, but they're just built that way.
Yeah. You got to be built for it.
Rarely is it a learning growth thing. Like, I can learn to be like this, because it tends to not be like that. It's something innate in artists at that level.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what I've learned in my years, as I get old.
You concur?
I concur. It's an interesting ball game, because it takes a lot of time and a lot of sacrifice. I think more than what most people are willing to give up.
That could not be more true. That is 100% true. And unlike, if you wanted to go become an accountant, if you work real hard, you tend to move up the ranks, and you could be the hardest working musician and never get anywhere. And that lack of like sort of put in the hard work, your dreams come true, isn't in the math in the music business. The music business, though, that's where business is unlike all the others. Or the arts in general, arts and entertainment. It doesn't have to just
That's
be
what
music.
I always tell people all the time. I'm like, because I have my creative studio, but it's much different. The same foundations of business apply.
Sure.
But the music business, just in the field that you're in, it's much, much more different.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm a contractor, right? Like I can go like into a neighborhood and find 10, 15, 20 houses that need a repair done.
And if you do great repairs, you get more work.
Right.
You write a great song and no one can care at all.
Exactly. Well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not going to find a lot of, artists that want recording time now, especially with, AI and what it can do. Yeah, I can't stand it.
Are you going to start asking me about AI in a second?
No, because I can't stand it. I can't stand it at all.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah, it's a doggone shame. So,
it is.
What do you have maybe a story of like, the one that got away type thing? Maybe an artist that you found you thought had some real potential, but it just didn't work out?
No, I mean, there's so here's, I do this math for everyone. I mean, the music business is so difficult that most people, 99.999% of the people, don't make it a career for a lifetime, right?
Yeah.
It's just not. So if I were to meet 100 artists, I could say no to managing all 100 of them. And most of the time, almost 100% of the time, I am going to be correct, because they're not going to make it, right? But as I became more successful, I was meeting people of like either already of note
Yeah.
You know, so for me in general, I'm most people's first manager, right? So I'm meeting people early. But every once in a while, there was sometimes I would meet a bigger artist. I have one that got away that was really tricky. It had nothing to do with me, but if I could, I'm not even sure I want to name drop it, but it won't be a good story if I don't. But I had met with Fergie. You know who Fergie is?
Yeah.
Right. So I'd met with Fergie, and I was already successful as a manager. And we had the greatest lunch. We met through her business manager. We had the greatest lunch, and she was in Black Eyed Peas, but she wasn't Fergie. She wasn't a solo artist yet. And I came in and we had the greatest time. She was like, "This is going to work. I want you to, be my guy." And like, she laughed. And I was like, "Oh my, I'm about to manage Fergie. I mean, she's huge. The Black Eyed Peas were like one of the biggest bands in the world." And then her current manager, who she hadn't fired yet, threatened to sue her and said, "I'll kick you out of the Black Eyed Peas," is what I heard from the business manager. "I threatened to kick you out of the Black Eyed Peas, or I'm not going to work with you. I'll blackball you," whatever threats he was making. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then she had to come back and be like, "This is not going to work." And I for 48 hours, I was on top of the world. I was like, "Whoa, I am next level.
Right.
I'm leveling up." And then I didn't. That was so it wasn't one that got away per se. I mean, I didn't really have her. But I don't know if there was ever an artist that I met that I didn't want to manage that then went on to be super successful. I would love to think of it, and if it were true, I would happily tell you, but I'm not sure that's ever really happened. Just because I didn't meet that many.
Yeah, well, no, that's quite all right. Yeah. That's quite all right. So when you're thinking about taking on an artist, I mean, what are you looking for? What's kind of like your checklist that you go through?
So, I mean, I kind of have two different answers. So when I was a full-time manager, that's all I did.
Yeah.
I was signing more and more artists. So and I'll explain the difference. And I would, the barriers of entry are different. For now, I am a full-time professor. I can, I manage one artist, New Constellations. Go check them out. And then I consult for a very big artist named Duran Duran. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, 100 million records sold. I consult for them. So I'm pretty busy as it is.
Yeah.
Signing someone would pretty much take a miracle for me at the moment, just because I'm kind of tapped out on my bandwidth. But eventually I'll need some more. So to be honest, I'm more likely to find partners and start to come in on projects than I would be to sign someone else.
Yeah.
But it would have to be, and again, the artist I manage now, New Constellations, I've known her, the lead singer, for 14 years, 15 years. Go. So we had already, and we're very close friends. So we had sort of an established relationship. I'm not sure what it would take for me to sign one more artist, but I would have to believe in it all the way. I just met this young artist from Germany, and she's, she won. I don't want to say it. She won a very big talent competition that everyone knows of on TV.
There you go.
And in Germany, and she has almost 1 million TikTok followers and 500,000 Instagram followers. She is under 18, so we're waiting to see what happens, sort of finishing high school and whatever. There's interest because there's a lot of business in there. I met with her parents, who are pretty incredible, and she sounds like she's built for success. She's also an actress, and I love that combination. And she's in some little movie, or she's in a movie. She has a little part in a movie coming out in Germany. She speaks 4 or 5 languages. So that became interesting to me because she has a lot of things going on and a lot of things to manage. And I kind of like that. And because I have a background in TV and entertainment as well as music, which most music managers don't, she would be interesting to me.
That's good.
Yeah, that just happened literally today, this morning.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. Well, answer me this.
Riddle me this. Yeah.
Yeah. So, give me like the top 5 lessons you've learned so far.
As a manager, an entrepreneur, as what? As what?
Just throughout your life, like just about life in general. What have you learned about life in general? This could be anything.
Damn,
this could be totally
what kind
unrelated.
Of podcast is this? Is a crazy question. Top 5 things I've learned.
Yeah, I mean, it's called the Real Life Podcast. We got to talk a little bit about life.
I guess we're getting real, right?
Yeah, we're getting real.
One thing someone taught me, they seem corny because they're kind of big statements, but I guess that's kind of how life lessons go. But, someone had once said, like, be good to people on the way up because you're going to see them on the way down, or whatever that expression is. I don't know if you know that expression. Man, it's so true. And here's the thing: is I have very little. I believe I have very little ego in sort of. I was managing, one of the bigger rock bands for a while. That was multi-platinum. I was never like, I'm a multi-platinum manager.
Sure.
Like, I'm here with students every day. Like, I try and treat everyone like equals, and I think that's a really interesting thing because you never know who's gonna play a part in your life.
Right.
Like I have learned you do not know who's going to play a part in your life. And people you meet, Harley Case, who's the lead singer of New Constellations, I met 15 years ago. She was a teenager in a talent competition. Oh, wow, I see a theme. Teenager in a talent competition that she won. Actually, she would like me to correct. She did not win that talent competition. I keep saying she won. 15 years later, I'm managing her, and it's one of the biggest parts of my life. So you just don't know. And life is long. So life is long, right? Assuming things go well. Life is long, and lots of people come in and out of your lives and life, and being good to them really matters. I mean, it sounds corny, but it really does matter.
I agree with you.
I treat people with as much respect as I can. Even you and I meeting, we have a bit of a fun dynamic. But like if you're talented or clever or working hard or sincere, I can get behind that, and I want to be involved, or I want to give you advice or whatever it is. So, I mean, that's one. God, this is going to be a long answer. Pay your taxes. That's probably good.
Yeah.
When you, all joking aside, when you own your own business, doing the business part of the business, I used to say, someone said, what's the best part about being, owning your own business, be an entrepreneur, and you're like, the best part is, you have no walls. You make the rules, whatever those things are. But the problem is without walls and rules, you can very easily fall off following any laws and rules. And you have to pay your taxes. You have to be compliant with your LLC, all that stuff. The worst part about running your own business is you have to run your own business.
Yeah,
it's a lot. And people factor that out. Like, I've had my own business now for 26 years. And I'm beyond maybe the most proud of that. I have kids, so I guess I'm most proud of them. Kids, love you. But just kidding. So not just kidding that I love them. I do love them.
Yeah,
kids.
no, I figured so. Yeah.
But yeah, it's important to do that business, and it's super hard. So I don't know. I'm not going to probably get past 3 of these, Kate. But lessons I've learned.
You're on 2. You got 3 more.
Okay. These all sound so dumb when I think of them in my head. If you are an entrepreneur, which I guess I am because people keep telling me I am. I just used to say I own my own business, but that's now called entrepreneurship. If you're not enjoying it, enjoying it more than you're not, if you start to realize you're not enjoying it more than you do, get out. The longer you wait, the more time you waste. Time is not to be wasted. It's not. I used to sleep about 4 hours a night because I believed that if you were up 20 hours a day and working while everyone else was working 8 to 10, you were getting further. But what I realized is you run yourself really deep into the ground.
Oh, yeah.
You stop enjoying. It didn't happen for me. I did not suffer burnout. I'm a rare case of burnout not taking effect. But I have a lot of joy in my life. I have kids and a good relationship, and I do love my life. So it's impossible to balance it. It just is. But if you expect to balance it all the time, you're just an idiot. Just letting you know. Sometimes one part's going to be more important than the other. Mm-hmm. You just ride that wave. I guess what I'm saying is learning to ride that wave, accepting you're not always going to be happy. You're not always going to, be well rested. You're not always going to be well. But overall, if you can do most of those things, most of the time you're winning. Whatever winning means, I don't even know what that means. Yeah. But you're winning. Some of us have faith. Some of us have other things that fill a lot of our lives, and I think it's important to keep those things strong up in your psyche to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Yeah. I didn't take care of myself for a very long time, and I didn't think that was important. And man, it just is. Your life can go.
I agree with you.
Your life can go down the toilet faster than you know what to do. You're busy taking care of all these other artists. They don't care that you've had the weekend off or not. They don't care that you've had, and not that artists don't care, but most of them are busy having their own lives. So taking care of yourself is super important. I think that's the end of my list for now. If I think of one more, I'll throw it out there.
No, I think that's good. I think that's valid. That's what I've learned. That's what I've learned.
Oh, so I did it 30 years later. It took me 30 years for you to discover what you did.
Yeah,
in like
that's
3.
what. Listen, yeah,
I'm a slow learner, is what we're learning on this podcast.
That's essentially
slow learners with Cade.
Essentially, that's what it is. Because I've learned. I was drinking about 1,000 milligrams of coffee a day.
Oof. I do no coffee, by the way, no caffeine whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm a caffeine addict now. I'm down. I cut it in half though. I only do about 300-400 milligrams a day now, which is a big step. But yeah, you got to take care of yourself, and you got to. You know what I learned?
Did Cade just come from Queens all of a sudden? Were you from Jersey and now you're from Queens? What just happened?
No, I got. Well, I don't know what happened.
300 milligrams.
Yeah, 300. Well,
300.
300.
300.
Yeah, but
he's an extra on The Sopranos. All of a sudden.
I don't know what just happened there. Maybe it was the air. I don't know. I don't know what's happening today. But but yeah, you gotta. And you know what else? I found
Cade?
very valuable is you gotta keep. When you're having a business, you have to force yourself to have a little bit of social interaction. You have to, or else you lose yourself because it's a wild ride.
I agree with that, but it very much depends, and this is where you shouldn't confuse these things. Here's an important note, Cade.
Thank you.
Is your type of business, which has some built-in interaction.
Yeah, yeah.
Mine, which is mostly music management, the teaching thing is different, but the music management side, I'm interacting with people all the time.
Yeah.
But it is a lie or a deceit of our business to think that is the extent of your social interaction. To
I
sort
agree.
of highlight what you're saying, it's important to have some social interactions outside of your work too, because if everyone. But listen, I used to only know record label people, other managers, and other artists. You kind of realize we're all using each other, but we're all in that thing. And I do have friends, from my whole life now that work in the music business. But you also need some of those other people. My friend sells medical supplies or whatever. You need some of those people to give you perspective.
You do, yeah. Go to a bar, go to Top Golf, Dave and Buster's. You need that little switch
Dave
up.
and Buster's, what are you, 14?
That's good. They got you can drink there. They got the bar.
Okay.
It's good stuff.
It's not good stuff. Do not get your cocktails at Dave and Buster's.
No, it's cheap.
Try La Scala over here on Rowan
bougie.
Boulevard.
It's a little bougie.
I'm a little bougie.
It's a little bougie.
Well,
it's a little
I'm
expensive.
a little bit further along in life than you, but
you ain't lying. You ain't lying about that.
Depending on who's listening to this podcast and your budgets, it's good cocktails over there.
Yeah.
If not, see you at Dave and Buster's.
There you go. See you at Dave and Buster's. Well, I guess
a sponsor?
To kind of, I'm thinking so.
After this podcast,
probably. Well, to kind of wrap up, I'll ask you one final question.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I'm going to ask you.
It's quite a build-up.
So right now you're a full-time professor.
Uh-huh.
So I'll ask you this: What do you see? Let's look 5 years down the road.
Uh-huh.
Where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Because you're what, 40
Very
something?
far from here. Yep.
48.
Sure.
Okay. So at 53, where are you gonna be?
I already know where I was at 53. He's a little off in his math, but that's okay. 5 years.
You're in your 50s?
Yeah, I'm in my 50s.
How old are you?
I'm not telling anybody on this podcast. Go do the math. You can see what year I graduated college. You'll have to do the math, everybody. Don't do the math. Just let's go with 45, and where am I going to be when I'm 53 or whatever that. I would say this, by the way, if I was 23, 33, 43, or 53.
Yeah.
Okay, my answer is identical. I have no idea. Here's what I do know. I will be working. I'm pretty much going to do that till I die, as far as I can tell. No retirement plan. So, just kidding. I love what I do. So, I don't know. To be quite honest, like new constellations could blow up and I'll be crazy busy, and then I'll rebuild my, management company and have a whole bunch of managers that work with and for me and have a big business. Or they'll do mediocre and I'll stop working with them and teach full time. Whatever. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure I care. This is not great advice for everyone out there. But I have never, ever, ever planned my life. I am a big fan, and you know me a little bit. I am open to opportunities as they come. I'm not an opportunist in that I go seeking them, but very often it comes to me. I mean, I became the chief marketing officer of a company a decade ago, just from having a lunch meeting with someone who said, my friend said, you should meet this guy. He owns a company. And we started talking. I literally left with a job that I wasn't looking for, and I don't think he was trying to hire for. I could never have planned that. It changed my life dramatically.
Yeah.
And then that turned into the Steve Madden job. I pitched Steve a job for 3 months, 8 years later. So I don't plan my life like that. You know, having a teaching job full time gives me a base salary, which stinks. A base salary to at least pay my bills, and everything else is just sort of a luxury on top of that. So I don't know. I mean, that's not a great answer, but I don't know, and nor do I plan for it.
I think that's perfect. I think too many people waste time trying to plan out the steps. Sometimes you just got to live a little bit.
Yeah, every time I've tried to plan it, I get punched in the face of the gut, and then I have to alter it anyway. So as long as I'm earning and enjoying it, I do this. And then as things come, and this is how it's been, because I think I'm a kind person. I think I'm generous.
Yeah,
I think I'm happy and optimistic. Stuff comes when you're doing good work. Good stuff comes. I do believe that deeply, is that as you're doing good things come.
I agree with you.
And, you know, it goes back to probably your faith and other things like that. But, like, just, you know, being good, doing good brings good. Oof. Write that down.
That was good.
I don't remember what I said, but
I don't know. Well, I'll watch it back.
Okay,
that might even be the title. That might be the title. Put that at the top of the description.
I like it.
That's it.
There you go. Yeah, so I don't know. I'll be somewhere.
There you go. All right, well, I think that's a perfect way to end it.
Mm-hmm.
You heard it here, everybody. Don't plan, just live.
Is that what we got out of that?
Yeah, might as well. You'll be much happier in life if you live through life with no expectations. You just start doing things.
Oof,
keep it going.
Great. No, love it.
Yeah. That's what I'm learning now.
Mm-hmm.
Because funny thing, actually, before we wrap up,
yes,
because I was in the car today and I was having a little rant session.
How about I interview you now? But go on.
This is usually how these always turn out. They always turn out with me getting interviewed. But I was in the car today and it hit me, you know, because I'm getting clients texting me.
It's a terrible expression. You're like, I'm in the car today and it hit me. But go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I'm like, you know, I'm dealing with the clients and I'm doing all these things and I'm realizing, and I had an epiphany. I was like, you know, you're never gonna make everybody happy at all times. You're never gonna do that.
That's not a thing.
It's impossible.
It's
impossible.
absolutely impossible.
And I think what a lot of people fail to do in business in general is put the expectation that they need to be perfect at all times.
Yeah.
That's not the expectation.
No.
It's all about how you react to when your client brings up something that they don't like. That's what keeps you in business for a long time.
Right.
So I think it's great what you said. I think you can't plan for the future. You just got to keep on moving with forward motion.
Listen, I'll tell you this last little thing.
Please do.
So my company's called 8 Spoke, right? 8 Spoke
Music.
Music.
Know all about it.
It's right there, if that's in the shot. And then, you know, it's based in a Buddhist concept, right? Is that all you can do is try. And by the way, I've given you this advice. All you can do is try. But if you try hard, you know that even if you failed, you gave it your all, right? I mean, as corny as the expression, the journey is the destination, it's true. And what they mean by that is if you can be happy doing whatever you're doing, the outcome is irrelevant, right? So if you loved trying to be a musician, but you wrote great songs and were happy for years, but it didn't work out for fame, that wasn't going to happen anyway. But at least you enjoyed life, met good people, wrote good music. You can play that music for your kids if you have it, or for your loved ones if you have them as well. But like just doing those things and trying is the key. So many people don't try. And I think when you do, things result. Maybe not the thing you thought, but things come.
That's it. That's perfect. That's a perfect way to end it. So
Thanks.
That's it for episode 3 of the Real Life Podcast. Stay tuned as we bring on somebody for the next episode. I don't know who they will be, but it will be someone. All right, everybody. Have a great night, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks.